People want to be healthy, and that's what you do. And so I thought about that today. We're down there, and people keep bringing up about cost containment. Cost containment, how will control cost? And I said at one point, you know, a lot of different ways to control cost, but I said this 20 years ago when I ran for president. Some of you may have missed it. I said at that time, 1991, talking about health care then, I said, look, if you want to save money in health care, we've got to start focusing on prevention. Not just patching and fixing and mending when someone gets sick, but keeping people healthy in the first place. And so I've been on this for a long time, and that's what we have in this bill. But I thought when we did the bill, and Janelle was helping me put this together last year. Now, as Al pointed out, I'm now the chairman of the Health Committee. I've been on it for 22 years. With the untimely demise of Senator Kennedy, I'm now the chairman of the Health and Education, Labor and Pensions Committee. So as we developed the bill last year, of course, Senator Kennedy was absent because of his illness. I kept thinking, if we're going to do prevention and wellness, and we're going to set up this whole new regime out there, I want to make sure that chiropractors and chiropractic care is an integral part of everything we do in this bill. So here's what we did. Number one, we'll end discrimination against doctors of chiropractic. It includes the first federal level non-discrimination clause to protect chiropractors regarding participation in any health plan. This will ensure that insurance companies, don't get me started on that. I always have to calm down a little bit when I use that. This will ensure that the insurance companies cannot unfairly exclude doctors of chiropractic and other allied health professionals from practicing under the capacity of their training and their licensure. Our bill expressly includes doctors of chiropractic as potential members of interdisciplinary community health teams. Now these teams will support the development of medical homes by increasing access to comprehensive community-based coordinated care. These community health teams will be integrated teams of providers as community resources who come together to enhance patient care, wellness, and lifestyle improvements. The language in the bill specifically ensures that doctors of chiropractic will be included in these patient-centered holistic teams. Yeah. Finally, number three, our bill establishes a National Healthcare Workforce Commission to examine current and projected needs in the healthcare workforce. The commission, again, includes doctors of chiropractic by defining them as part of the healthcare workforce and including them in the definition of health professionals. Yeah. And lastly, and not least of all, schools of chiropractic medicine are also included in the health professional training schools that will be studied by these teams. Yeah. So again, I thank Janelle for all of her great work in making sure we got that in there, all these provisions in there. Now again, I've done this because this is what we've got to do. We've got to start keeping people healthy, giving people choices, improving health care outcomes, reducing health care costs, reducing health care costs by keeping people healthy and by giving people more choices. And again, it's about treating people holistically. I said that at the beginning. I mean that most sincerely, looking at the whole person, not just one little illness. Through the years, I've become more and more convinced that a lot of illnesses that may express themselves one way or the other in a person may have their genesis in something else. And it expresses itself later on. But by treating the whole person, you get at the root of the problem, not just sort of taking care of what is being expressed, but what the underlying causes really are. And that's what chiropractic does so well. So let me just say that after today, I used this analogy the other day. I'm an old Navy guy. I said that the ship of health reform has been through some pretty rough waters. There's been a lot of torpedoes fired, a lot of heavy artillery, but the ship is still afloat. The ship is still afloat. We had one more cordon, sort of And I think at the conclusion of the summit, I was asked what I thought, and I said, well, it's clear to me that we have reached out the olive branch to the other side. We've been open in all our deliberations. In my committee, we had over 13 days, 54 hours of open markup and open session. We had countless meetings with our Republican colleagues and their staffs on walking through. In our bill, we adopted 161 Republican amendments. 161 out of 287 amendments that were offered, we adopted 161. I pointed out today that the House, the House Republicans have a bill where the Senate Republicans don't. The House Republican bill, out of 10 key items that they put out there in terms of insurance reforms, we have 9 of them in our bill. 1 we don't. But 9 out of 10 is not bad. So I pointed this out, and I'm pointing that out today. So I think we're at this point, my friends, we're at this point. We have worked for a year and a half, some people said they actually 5 decades, to try to get meaningful health care reform. We have been open and above board. We've had all these amendments, accepted them in. Where we are today is this. The time for talking and dithering is over with. It's time for action. And anything as complex as health reform, when you got so many people, like insurance companies, making so much money on it, they don't want to change. They kind of like it just the way it is. Thank you very much. And so there will be some issues that cannot be resolved beforehand. In all my years here, we've worked together in a bipartisan way to narrow things down, and maybe there's some things we just can't agree on. And when you hit that point, that's the time to vote. That's the time to have a debate on the floor and have the vote one way or the other. So if we keep talking and dithering for another year, 14,000 people a day lose their health insurance coverage. We keep dithering, 30 million more Americans will have no health coverage whatsoever. We keep dithering, and the health insurance companies will continue their unconscionable rate hikes. My state of Iowa averaged 21%. And we've only got 2 insurance companies basically control 80% of the market in the state of Iowa. People don't have much of a choice. We've already about California went up 39%. Ours went up 21%. And the health insurance companies that drop people. You get sick, they drop you. And we need to do more prevention and wellness, which is one of the biggest parts of this bill. Never gets talked about much. Never gets talked about much. But it is a huge part of this bill. So I think the time for talking and dithering is over with. It's time to pull together the bill, move forward, bring it up for a vote, and let the majority decide. Let the majority of the people in the Congress decide. And let's have our, and some people say, let's have incremental changes. Incremental. Well, it's like a swimmer swimming 50 feet off the shore and he's drowning. Incrementalism can throw him a 10-foot rope. You say, well, that didn't work. Next toss will toss on a 20-foot rope. Well, that didn't quite get there, so the next time it's 30 foot, next time we're finally get a 50-foot rope out. By that time, the guy is drowned. That's what's happening here. People are drowning in our country because they aren't getting good health care. They're not getting the kind of health care that you all believe in. This is the best thing I could ever have done for chiropractors and allied health professionals. I've singled you out because you're here. But there are other allied health professionals that I also care a great deal about. Naturopaths and others that also can do great things for keeping people healthy. And so my commitment to you is to see this bill through. My commitment to you as chairman of this committee is to make sure that you are all included up front, that you don't take a back seat anymore. You're up in the front seat. You're part of our